So he had 11,000 sons. And this time, Narada Muni is telling them again the same thing, that you should follow your elder brothers and not follow the instructions of your father. Because in Srimad Bhagavatam it says that one who gives up all material duties and taketh shelter of lotus feet of Mukunda, who is no other shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, even one's forefathers who have passed away. Since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one who has surrendered to the Supreme Lord has no need to serve such persons separately. So, Narada Muni is the best of all the demigods. Devarshi Narada, and he has a spiritual body. He can go to the anywhere in the material or spiritual worlds. And Narada Muni is a very prominent figure in the stream of Bhagavatam. He was the spiritual master of Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the mood of Srimati Radharani, but he also relished hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, especially hearing the narrations about Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, and he heard it hundreds of times from Gadadhar Pandit. Because these personalities, Dhruva Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, exemplified the character of pure bhakti. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Amama Jananti, I can only be known by pure devotional service. So Narada Muni also instructed King Prachini Bari, who was a materialistic king and had performed many sacrifices, which he killed many animals. So Narada Muni showed them all the animals that he killed and how they'd have to come back and kill him. And then they narrated the story of Puranjana. And then, so King Prachini Bharati could get free from his material attachments and understand the importance of spiritual life instead of material life. He also will be speaking to King Chitraketu later on in this canto. Maharaj Chitraketu had 10 million wives, but he was unhappy. So Angira Muni came there and said, why are you unhappy? Why are you morose? He says, well, I have so many wives, but I don't have one son. So he wanted a son, not to take him back to Godhead, so he wouldn't have to go to hell, deliver the forefathers, deliver himself. So Angira Muni didn't preach to him about getting out of the material world. He just said, okay, I'll give you a son, but the son will be the cause of lamentation and the cause of distress. So Maharaj Chitraketu accepted that. Then he had a son, and him and his wife were very affectionate to the son, and they weren't shown any affection to the other wives, so they poisoned the son and killed him. Then Angira Muni and Narada Muni came there and then instructed King Chitraketu, the real Siddhanta of Bhagavat, of the devotional service and the real meaning to life, so Chitraketu could give up his lamentation. And the dead son, he brought the dead son back to life, and the dead son said, well, who are these two people? These are not my mother and father. I've been through animal species, I've been through tree and species, I've been through demigod species, I've been through so many species, I had so many mothers and fathers. How can these be my mother and father? So when they heard these words, they were able to give up their lamentation and become self-realized. Also, Sanatana Goswami narrated the story. Narada Muni was to Sanatana Goswami. Narada Muni was walking on the path in the forest, not the usual path, the path that was uncommon, and he saw all these animals that were half killed. So he was wondering what's going on here. So then he met this hunter. His name was Magrari. And Magrari said to Narada Muni, "You're a saintly person. Let me offer you something. I can give you some kind of skin, deer skin or something." Narada Muni said, "No, I didn't come for that reason, but I have one request for you. Why are you half killing the animals? It's better that you kill them fully so you don't cause them suffering." Magrari the hunter said, "Well, my father taught me this, and I get great pleasure in doing this. This is my business." And then Narada Muni showed him all the animals that were half killed by him, who were going to come back and kill him again. So Magrari the hunter took shelter of Narada Muni and became a Vaishnava. And this is by the grace of Narada Muni. When Narada Muni came back to see Magrari the hunter, he was jumping up and down. So they asked him, "Why are you jumping up and down?" He said, "I didn't want to step on any ants." So Narada Muni has his potency. He goes to the demigods, he goes to the demons, he even went to Kamsa to speed up Krishna's pastimes. In this way, Narada Muni is always traveling and preaching. So first he instructed the sons of Daksha, the Salvalashyas, that they should follow the path of their brothers because of their family affection. So we know family affection is very strong in India, but not in the West. It's not so prominent, but in India, the families are more strongly attached to each other. And Maharaja Shabdev, he instructed his 100 sons on spiritual knowledge. So Narada Muni was being tactful, playing on the sentiments of these brothers and tried to convince them that they should not follow the order of their father. Shri Shri Gauranitai Krishna Balaram Radha Shyam Ki Jai. He told them they should not follow the orders of their father, but should follow the orders of the spiritual master, or Narada Muni himself. And so they agreed, because the living entity, we take birth from the father. But when we take initiation, Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Bij, this is second birth. So the orders of father doesn't have to be followed. It's like Brahma, from his breathing came out so many living entities. The four Kumaras, ordered the four Kumaras to get married and populate the universe. But they refused, and they decided that they would remain children, 4 or 5 years old, so that they would never be agitated for sex life and could remain free from family attachments. But Brahma became angry, and from his forehead came out Rudra. So this order to get married, that's one order. Even if the spiritual master gives you that order, you don't necessarily have to follow that order. That's the only order. Otherwise, it's an offense to the holy name to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. So the Varnashram system there from the age of 5 to 25. One goes to the Gurukul, and at the age of 25, he can decide whether he wants to stay brahmachari or whether he wants to enter into a household life, grihastha ashram. But we know in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that Lord Rishabdev preached to his sons, 100 sons. He said the attraction between male and female is the basic principle of material existence, which ties together the hearts of male and female, and one becomes attracted to his home, body, property, children, relatives, and wealth. This way, one increases one's life's illusion and thinks in terms of I and mine. And also, he says, one who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or worshipable demigod. So, those who, when we first come to Krishna consciousness, we live in the brahmachari ashram for some time. And it's a very simple life. You have a few cloths, you have a few possessions, and you only have to worry about yourself. And you do some nice service. But the brahmacharis, some reason or other, they may not be satisfied with that. And according to their karma or whatever it may be, they decide to enter into the grihastha ashram. But Lord Chaitanya told Raghunath Bhatta Goswami to never marry because he was not inclined, he was completely pure and was not inclined to married life. But he told me to take care of your mother and father and then go to Vrindavan and stay under the shelter of Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, which he did. So some people have to learn the hard way. Like Daksha will tell Narada Muni that the people, you can't renounce family life and then artificially, you have to suffer through it and then you can renounce it. But those who are grihastras will admit that family life is difficult, and Prabhupada says for one in the grihastha ashram, advancement is very slow or next to nil. So there was one sage who was meditating, and the mouse was coming and stealing his kalpans. So he decided, well, I'll get a cat to chase away the mouse. So he got a cat, and then the cat was hungry, so he had to get a cow to give milk to the cat. But then he had a cow, and he had to get a wife to take care of the cow. Then he got a wife and a cow, then he had to get a house, and then he had to get children, and then he forgot about his meditation and all spiritual activities. That's generally the case when people get married. Their devotional practices become a little lax. We see it here in Vrindavan, we see it all over the world. When people get married, they get entangled, they have to pay the bills, they have to get a job, they have to worry about so many things. The grass is always greener on the other side. It looks like household life is very nice. For the brahmachari, sees a man with a beautiful wife. He thinks, well, I'd like to have a beautiful wife too. It must be very nice. But then when he actually gets a wife, he understands that, oh, why did I do this? I should have stayed brahmachari. This is not what it looks like it is. So it's illusion. Lord Kapila Dev told my Mother Devahuti that form of woman is the form of Maya, which captivates the living entity. A man, even the greatest of men, even just by the movement of eyebrows, a woman can control a man. One time, Krishna was with Satyabhama, went to the heavenly planets, and brought back the Parijati, not only the flower, but a whole tree. So she expected that, Krishna expected Rukmini would object, would say something, would be envious. But Rukmini didn't say anything. So Krishna said to Rukmini, "You made a big mistake. You should have married Shishupal. Because I'm a coward boy, sometimes people don't know who I am, and I don't have any money, and he gave so many reasons that she should have married Shishupal." But Rukmini wasn't happy to hear this, and she replied that, "You want me to marry Shishupal, the man who has hair all over his body is made of bones and flesh and mucus and stool and urine. This is what you want me to marry?" He said, how dare you suggest such a thing? Because we know Krishna and Rukmini, all the associates of the Lord, they all have spiritual bodies, and no bad smells come out of their bodies. They're all eternally the same age. So even though she was old enough to be a grandmother and have grandchildren, she was still in her youth, and Krishna was also still in his youth. So she rejected this idea that she should marry someone with a material body. So this is the way of material life that is very binding and very difficult to be in the Grihastha ashram and be Krishna conscious at the same time. It's a struggle. But people go through it anyhow, even though the warning is there, even though Prabhupada said it, that the spiritual life is very slow. So still people do it and try to follow Krishna consciousness at the same time. So this is why Narada Muni, who persuaded the sons of Daksha, all 11,000 of them, to not take up Grihastha ashram, to stay brahmachari, and go home back to Godhead, make their life successful. People in India, most people think that the sons and daughters should get married and make money to support the mother and father, and this is a normal thing to do. And when the child becomes a devotee and doesn't want to get married, the parents become very unhappy if they're not devotees. So Prabhupada here in this purport is talking about the process of devotional service, which is delineated in Nectar Devotion. And Nectar Devotion gives 64 limbs of devotional service that should be followed by everyone. And of those 64, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, worshiping the deities, living in a holy place, and chanting Hare Krishna. These are the most important items in devotional service. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada established this class, Srimad Bhagavatam class. And this class is meant for all the devotees, because the 9 processes of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing chanting is the most important of all the 9 processes of devotional service. So hearing Srimad Bhagavatam must be heard from a pure devotee in the assembly, and not from Bhagavata reciters. There are people who give Bhagavat Saptaha, they recite Bhagavatam for 7 days. But The Srimad Bhagavatam should be recited by a person who has no motivation. There's Niskam Karma Bhakti and Sakar Karma Bhakti. Those who have material desires and those who have no material desires. So those who recite Bhagavatam should not ask for a donation, ask for money, nor should they expect money. They should simply give Bhagavatam discourse for the sake of giving Bhagavatam discourse. Otherwise, there's an offense to the Bhagavatam, to recite Bhagavatam for money. And this way, they will be able to deliver the pure message of the Bhagavatam and change people's hearts. But not in 7 days. It says, Nasta Prayashu Abdeshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, that by regular hearing Bhagavatam daily, then one's heart becomes cleansed. So Bhagavat Saptaha is condemned by Srila Prabhupada. They read the whole Bhagavatam in 7 days. But Bhagavatam, it must be heard regularly, not just 7 days, continuously, daily. We have this class daily. Some people may think Bhagavatam class is not important, but Prabhupada established this program so that everyone, whether they're sitting in the Bhagavatam class or listening on the radio, to set aside this time every day for this purpose and not think they have to do anything else. Prabhupada told the temple presidents, if you don't hear Srimad Bhagavatam, then you'll think that this old man has given me this temple to manage, has given me this burden, this responsibility to manage this temple, and this has become a great burden. So he requested everyone, and he said, don't become a better Paramahansa than your spiritual master. So when Srila Prabhupada would instruct some of his disciples to give class, he would also attend the class. So Srimad Bhagavatam class is required for everyone, unless you're a pujari or a cook or have some other service at that time, but you can still listen on the radio. But otherwise, everyone should attend the Bhagavatam class on a regular basis and not make any flimsical excuses why I can't come to Bhagavatam class, or think that hearing Bhagavatam is not important. So then here, Srila Prabhupada and the rest of this purport, he's glorifying the importance of Bhagavatam. And he says, Nigama Palam Thro Galatim Palam, which is said in the first canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad Bhagavatam, the mature fruit, the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanates from the lips of Sukadeva Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarine juice was already relished for all, including liberated souls. And it says, O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men have been short lives, quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, above all, always disturbed. So Prabhupada recorded this verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which states that people in the material world, the mass people, do not know what the right path. They're on the wrong path, and they don't know about the linking process of devotional service. So people are suffering because of ignorance and are following a wrong path for happiness. This is called anartha. Anartha means unwanted things. So there's Privritti Marg and Nivritti Marg. One is the path of liberation, one is the path of material sense enjoyment. So most people in the world are following the path of sense enjoyment, trying to get as much happiness out of this material world. But Prabhupada says here, these material activities will never make them happy, and therefore Narada Muni instructed Vyasadeva to record the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam. So the material world, there's so many advertisements and propaganda that you have this and that, you'll be happy. Everything, people are in uh, so much propaganda how to be happy in the material world. But Dukaya Lama Shasvatam, from the highest planet down to the lowest, all places of misery wherein repeated birth and death take place. So whether you're a demigod or you're on this planet or a demon or whatever you are in the material world, it's always suffering going to be there. Even Briya Bhagavatamrita says even the demigods have to suffer. So there's no escaping it. The living entity is bound up in the material world like the Ferris wheel. It goes up and down, and sometimes you're a demigod, sometimes you're a germ, sometimes you're a human being. So in this way, you're trapped in the material world. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is the answer to getting free from the material conception of life. And it was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami. Sukha means parrot, and a parrot, if a parrot touches a fruit, it becomes more sweet. So Sukadeva Goswami was in the womb of his mother for 12 years. He didn't want to come out because he was Brahman realized. But then Krishna came and told him you should come out. It's all right, you won't get entangled in the material world. So he came out and went to the forest, but then he heard a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, and he heard Srimad Bhagavatam from his father, Vyasadeva, and then he was able to, he changed from being a Brahma body, a Brahman realized, to being a fully realized soul. So therefore he was able to recite Srimad Bhagavatam to Maharaj Parikshit on the bank of the Ganges. So Srila Vyasadeva, he wrote all the Vedic literatures, and the Vedas were emanated from the breathing of Lord Brahma, the first created being. So this Krishna consciousness movement started millions of years ago from Lord Brahma. It's not a cult. In America, in the West, they thought we were a cult. A cult means something that has recently been invented, or something new, some new kind of philosophy. But no, this started with Lord Brahma. The Vedas came out from his breathing, and the Vedas, the Puranas, all the other literatures were first emanated from Lord Brahma. Then the need for compiling and writing down the Vedas was the task was given Srila Vyasadeva, who is an incarnation of the Lord, literary incarnation. So he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is stated in the Bhagavatam itself. Srimad Bhagavatam is declared to be the essence of all Vedanta philosophy. One who felt satisfaction from its nectarine mellow will never be attracted to any other literature. Srimad Bhagavatam is the spotless Purana, the most dear to the Vaishnava, because it describes the pure and supreme knowledge of the Paramahansas. This Bhagavatam reveals the means for becoming free from all material work, together with the process of transcendental knowledge, renunciation, devotion. Anyone who seriously tries to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, who properly hears and chants it with devotion, becomes completely liberated. So Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of all of it, is the essence. Bhagavad Purana, there's 18 Puranas, but Srimad Bhagavatam is considered the topmost on the Puranas. Some people say the Puranas aren't part of the Vedas, but it came out from the breathing of Lord Brahma. It is part of the Vedas. And Veda means end of all knowledge. So all the knowledge that required for material world is in the Vedas, but Krishna says that Vedanta Krit Veda Vedeva Chaham, that I am the knower of the Vedas, and I'm the goal of the Vedas. So Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to bring people to understand that pure devotional service, Anyabhilasita Sunyam, Gyanakarmanavitam, Anakulena Krishnasno, Bhakti Uttamam, that this is pure devotional service, free from Gyan, free from karma. This is what is being taught in Srimad Bhagavatam. And this was Lord Chaitanya came, he came to teach Gyan and Vairagya. So anything that fosters, any knowledge that fosters Krishna consciousness, any kind of renunciation which fosters Krishna consciousness, that should be accepted. Anything else should be rejected. So Krishna says, Daivesha gunamai mama maya durataya. This material energy is very difficult to overcome, but one who surrenders unto me can easily cross beyond it. So the whole purpose of Krishna's conscious movement, Sarvadharma Prikjaja, Mamekam Saranamraja, Ham Tvam Sarvabhavan Yo Moksha Shami Mahasuchaha. That everyone should surrender to Krishna. Krishna says, give up all varieties of Dharma. That means Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Give up all other philosophies and just surrender to Krishna. He says, I will protect you from all sinful activities. Do not fear. Mahasuchaha. This is the last word of Bhagavad Gita. So Narada Muni has converted the 10,000 sons of Daksha, and here Daksha had another 1,000 sons. He also instructed them the same way, and to not get entangled in material life, to stay brahmachari, and make their life successful. So there's many more things that can be said here. We know that the devotees in Gaur Lila, we know how they were surrendered souls. Sudama Brahman in Krishna Lila, he was very poor. He never asked for anything from anyone. His wife told him, you go see Lord Krishna. Maybe he'll give you something to relieve our suffering. So Sudama went to Krishna, well, not with the idea to ask him for something, but because his wife wanted him to do so, he went. And when he returned from his visiting Krishna, he saw that his house had been transformed. He got more opulence than the king of heaven. His wife's body transformed into a beautiful body, and he also got a beautiful body, and he got a palace like the king of heaven. But because he was a devotee, he didn't misuse his opulence. He still remained a pure devotee. So in any condition of life, devotees should be a surrendered soul. That means we accept that which is favorable, reject this as unfavorable, to know that Krishna is your protector, that Krishna is your maintainer, Krishna will give his mercy, and always feel oneself meek and humble. Krishnadas Kaviraj says, Tranadapi Sunichena, Turapi Sishana, Manina Mandena, Kirtanya Sadari. That one should think oneself lower than the straw on the street, more tolerant than the tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer all respects to others. In this way, he says, we should take that verse along with the Maha Mantra and string that verse around our neck and wear it always. Because unless you're humble, then you cannot chant Hare Krishna without offense. So these are the most important thing. We should chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we should avoid the 10 offenses. In this way, we can reap the benefit. Even if one may chant 64 rounds, but if he doesn't feel ecstatic symptoms, that means he still has material attachments. And before reciting Bhagavatam, we say, the Srimad Bhagavatam cleanses the heart. And the heart is, if one chants the holy name and symptoms are not there, such as tears flowing from the eyes and hair standing on end, then it means the heart is steel framed. So this is the difficult job. Especially people come from Western background where we spend the first 20 or 30 years of our life in material sense enjoyment to clean the heart. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, by chanting the holy name, it cleanses the heart, all the dirt. Queen Kunti is praying that let me get free from the mud in my heart. So cleaning the heart, this is like cleaning coal. And cleaning coal is just black and more black. You can't clean coal. So cleaning the heart is like cleaning coal. So doesn't mean we should give up devotional service, but it just means we should chant as much as possible. We should hear as much as possible. We should not waste our time with hearing mundane sound vibrations or engage in mundane activities. Especially in Vrindavan, you're in the holy Dham, holiest place in all the universe. We should take the time to study Prabhupada's books, study Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, read Prabhupada's purports, take the time to chant, try to chant attentively every day. Try to chant. The 10th offense is to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on the subject matter, and also to be inattentive. Inattentive chanting leads to all other anarthas. So even though the mind wanders when we're chanting Hare Krishna, the mind will wander here and there. We have to keep bringing back and simply hear the mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I have some service to do. So the sons of Daksha, O sons of Daksha, please hear my words of instruction attentively. You are very affectionate to your elder brothers, Hayasvas, therefore you should follow their path. So Srila Prabhupada made it his life's mission to translate and purport Srimad Bhagavatam. He said that later in this chapter we'll hear how Narada Muni was cursed by Daksha not to stay in one place. He said he was also cursed by the parents of his disciples, but he was hoping his sannyas disciples and other disciples will take up that curse and travel all over the world and preach so that he could sit in one place and finish Srimad Bhagavatam. But unfortunately, he only got up to the 10th canto, 13th chapter. But these words, Srimad Bhagavatam, are, Prabhupada said, even if a person touches the Bhagavatam or just chants one word or reads one word, then his life can become successful. So we distributed many Bhagavatams to many people, and for the benefit of all human society. Hare Krishna. I can't entertain any questions. I have to go now. Hare Krishna.